It was good. This your boy Mo, aka Rafe from Money and Violence, and I'm about to vent.
All right, so what is within writing this, right? I've read this book called Man Child in the Promised Land, right?
Mm-hmm, I read that.
Okay. And so
the funny thing is that book was one of our reference materials for Godfather of Harlem, just to kind of familiarize us with the landscape of Harlem in the 1960s, just to get that texture of what the world is.
Okay, and that's a perfect book for it.
It's one of Marquand's favorite books too.
But what I learned from that is the streets is like the streets. I think like when me growing up and to now me being an adult, every generation that passes, you always hear older people, oh, this generation is getting worse and worse and worse. And I think from reading that book, what it taught me was, these things are usually...
It's always been like that.
It's the same. You understand what I'm saying?
It's always been like that.
You might add a little bit of technology or a different fashion, different slang, different lingo, but streets tend to be the streets. When you're writing for something like Godfather of Harlem, right? Can you think back to is it easily relatable to the places you may have grown up and the things that you may have seen?
I would say yes and no. The reason I would say yes is because when you're dealing with criminality, when you're dealing with outlaws, when you're dealing with people who operate on the wrong side of the law, they all kind of follow the same code. But you also have the TV version of these people, right? Which isn't always accurate. Also as well, there's a lot of tweaking that you have to do because, the priority is entertainment purposes. So therefore, as much as a lot of times, you may want to lean in a certain direction, it may not be the best thing for the story.
Okay, I get what you're saying. And how much information is there actually about Bumpy? Because I think,
there isn't a lot.
Yeah, okay.
There isn't a lot at all.
Yeah.
But we did. You have to understand. That's why we did so much research and we pulled from so many different things. If I tell you how many books I read for that show, Man Child in the Promised Land. I read a book called Pleasant Avenue. Books about the mob. Vincent Chinjagante's biography.
And he just recently died. He didn't die too long. I remember in the 90s he used to walk around with the robe and stuff.
With the dirty robe and all that. It was a lot of research material, man. I read almost every single book you can think of about Malcolm X. And it was because the thing was, although it's a show about Bumpy Johnson, it's still the clash of the Harlem underworld and the civil rights movement. So you have to think about, I also read books about Andrew Clayton Powell, all these different characters. You have Malcolm X, Andrew Clayton Powell, Bumpy Johnson. I mean, that in itself, these three big fish in this small pool that is Harlem at the time. I remember I was wowed by the fact that Malcolm X and Bumpy Johnson were great friends. Bumpy paid for his funeral. Bumpy's who provided him security. The day that he was assassinated, the guys that Bumpy had assigned to protect Malcolm were pulled over on the Brooklyn Bridge by the cops. And they were arrested and let go the very next day. No charges, no nothing.
Sounds conspiracy-ish.
Listen, and there's a lot, man. There's a lot. So we did a lot of research. And the reason being is it wasn't just about depicting these characters, but it was also about being accurate as far as the landscape of Harlem in the 1960s. Yeah, what's up, people? This is your boy Mo, Rafe from Money and Violence, and I just vented, man. Make sure that y'all like, share, and subscribe. Yo, Slops, what up?